analytical and statistical tools. After all, this is an important point because if we do not track the effectiveness of your content, we will not be able to measure our results. Let's look at some tools that can help us track statistics and solve some basic problems. First of all, we will get acquainted with the statistics service from the Facebook page itself. In order to use this service, go to the statistics tool called Page Insights. In this case, we see all the main indicators of our page. How many new subscribers we have, how many people have unsubscribed, etc. Here on this slide, you can see content publications. Opposite each content publication, we clearly see the date, the reach, and we see the engagement. Let's figure out which is which. The date is clear. This is when we posted our post. What is the situation with the reach metric? The orange colored graphic here can show organic reach and bright orange shows paid reach. This means ad reach. This is one of the tools you can use to see which posts should be promoted with $10 to $15, so this post will be seen by an even larger audience. Going to the statistics section, we can see which content is the most popular, and in the right column there is a promotion button. Boost. You can start promoting posts from this page. What is an engagement block? Engagement is what these likes, comments, saves, and reposts are all about. It is interaction, and of course, this is important to us. It's not about the reach, or in other words, how many people scroll through your posts. It's about how many people interacted with it. Therefore, we use this section to see which posts are being engaged with the most. Okay, let's move on to the ad page. Here you can add your competitors' pages and see their performance. Unfortunately, not much data is provided to us. Here we can see how many subscribers they have, how much their subscribers have grown, and the number of posts and engagements. Well, at least here you can understand how your main competitors are trending and what they are doing on Facebook. A little later, I will show you more serious tools that will allow you to analyze your competitors. Further down the side tabs section in the Page Insights itself, you have many different sections. Here you can look at when people subscribed and unsubscribed from you. It is possible to track the reach indicators here and accordingly understand how the reach of your page is changing. You can see data on statistics by country. More specifically, you can see which cities and regions the audience came to you from. And of course, you have the opportunity right now to open your page and see who was already subscribed to your page. You could also see how this audience interacts with your business page. What metrics should you watch for your business page? Well, the first is followers growth rate. Of course, there are two things to analyze here, organic and paid advertising, which we'll talk about a little later. Organic is when a user sees a repost from a friend and then goes to your site. Paid advertising is when a user sees an advertisement in the feed and subscribes to you. These are the different types of reach for publications. Again, follower growth rate is about how your reach is growing and how interesting your content is to the audience. Here is some additional information. These are publications. We can keep track of what time something was posted and the day it was posted. At the same time, we can also track engagement. So by using this data, we can see when the best time to post is. And we can track followers and likes. When users subscribe to you, they can also track and see your content. Now I'm going to go over some important points concerning Facebook posts. First, you have the ability to add links to your site in Facebook posts, as opposed to Instagram posts where this is not allowed. This link to the site can be tagged using UTM tags. It can be shortened and made from a long link to a short link. A little later, I will show the tools with which you can do this. I also recommend using multiple links when talking about 2 or 3 products. For example, you can take a photo of a model wearing a t-shirt, shorts, watch, etc. You should provide links to all these products and the entire look. That is, a user can go to each product by clicking a link. You can give several links and mark each link using a UTM. What is a UTM and what exactly is link shortening? Let's figure it out. First, let's talk about link shortening. There is a service called bit.ly. The bit.ly service allows you to make a short link. So you can go from having a long link to having a small link that you can add to your posts. With the help of the bit.ly service, you can track the click statistics. In addition, the link itself can be marked using an UTM. What is a UTM? These are special tags for your site that you can track in Google Analytics. This technology allows you to understand where a sale came from, where an application came from, and when you got it. One of the services that allows you to do this is the service located by the link on the tilde website. You can mark any link and place it on Facebook. In this case, you put the link to the site, mark the main indicators, and the user will not see the entire length of the link because we marked the link with UTM tags and then shortened it. We use UTM tags to identify where a sale came from. UTM tags are valuable because they allow us to understand if our promotions are effective and if we are getting organic traffic or from paid ad campaigns. Of course, in order to work with all of this, there are special techniques and special technologies that allow us to track all of this. The next block is dedicated to Facebook Analytics. Unfortunately, Facebook has made the decision to not continue supporting Facebook Analytics. Facebook has stated that they are trying to redesign Facebook Analytics. It is important to take into account that Facebook Analytics has a huge number of useful tools. Soon, Facebook will come out with a new tool that is sleeker and more powerful. Of course, as soon as the new version is available, we will create a lesson for you so you can learn how to use it. When the new version comes out, all you have to do is return to this lesson and an updated version that includes information about the new version will be waiting for you. Next, let's talk about services. Here I have collected popular services that you can use. These are services that are mostly paid services, but they also have a trial period. These trial periods typically last between 7 and 14 days. With these trial accounts, you will either have limited time or features. These are all the services that you can use in order to analyze your competitors. With these tools, you will be able to see the contests they create and what topics are in demand for their audience. Trust me, 14 days is more than enough to check what your competitors are doing. The first service I want to talk about is Social Baker. Social Baker allows you to analyze the main indicators of a competitor, track the best times to post, and analyze your competitors. For example, you can see which ads they're running, see the content that works for them, and find niche influencers who can be useful to you. All of this data can help you draw an accurate portrait of your target audience. There are a lot of services besides Social Baker that you can use. Most of them were on the slide I just showed you. Remember that trial accounts for these sites are more than enough. I recommend creating a special document in Google Docs. In this document, write down your main competitors and their Facebook pages. My students often tell me that their competitors' social media accounts are weak and they don't see the point in tracking them. I always say that maybe they are weak now, but they may not be in the future if they learn how to manage it. So I always tell them to write down their competitors anyway, just in case they eventually start making some useful content. Analytical tools and services really help us understand what is effective and what's not. If you find that a particular genre of content is not working for you, then it's best to leave it and move on to something else. If everything is in order, you can track statistics and analytics on Facebook of my own page. Let's check out the main parameters. Here I can observe statistics from 7 days to 28 days. I can also see which of my posts perform the best and which days they perform the best. I can see advertising and organic promotion statistics. As I said earlier, you can track the effectiveness of certain posts. In organic actions, you can check which post did better. And here I see the Boost Post button. In this section, you are able to track other pages. For example, you can add pages of other agencies and monitor their growth and performance. Further, there are additional tabs that we can switch with you. This section here is called Creator Studio. By using this, you can schedule publications for your business page, Instagram account, and even Instagram stories. It's even possible to track followers and see when they subscribe or unsubscribe. You can also see when people come and subscribe to your page the most. In the likes section, you can track the number of likes you get on a particular page. So you have page likes and followers. What's the difference? My students ask me this question a lot. If a person likes your page, they will automatically be subscribed to your updates. If a person doesn't leave you a like, they can still subscribe to you and see your posts when they want to by pressing follower. And essentially, they become your followers. There is also a section that lets you check reach. In the reach section, you can observe your daily reach and see various metrics and reactions to your page. You can also see your views and look at some key indicators. Let's move on to the publication section. There are a lot of parameters that you can set here, but I'm only going to get into the main ones that will actually help you. The post section is great because you can see which posts did the best by looking at the highest indicator scores. In this section, you can see all posts, and from here, you can promote posts by pressing Boost Post. If a page has events attached to it, they will also be displayed. You can see the tab videos. Here is the Stories tab and the Messages tab. You can see how often your audience writes on your page. These are the main indicators that you can observe by viewing your business. Besides creating great content, you need to start promoting using advertising tools. There are two options for launching ads. The first option is to launch ads with a phone. The second option is to launch ads through Ads Manager. You will learn how to use both options in this course. Even though many experts say it's impossible to launch an advertising campaign from your phone, we at our agency beg to differ. Just recently, we received some training from Facebook. We made sure to ask Facebook if launching ad campaigns on our smartphones was possible. They assured us that as long as we had ad content to post, there would be nothing stopping us from launching campaigns with our phones. It works exactly the same for the Instagram application. Any ad campaign you launch on Instagram by phone can be promoted. Remember that Facebook and Instagram are closely connected, so it's best to know about both platforms. Since I just mentioned Instagram, I will talk about a few things you absolutely need to know about the platform. As I said earlier, you have the ability to promote content by boosting posts on Instagram. As you can see on this slide, when you do that, you are first given the option to select the goal of your post. Your goal could be to direct people to your site or just to reach more people. Launching ads through the Instagram app works really well. And if you're thinking about promoting both on Facebook and Instagram, I highly recommend setting aside about 10 to 15% of your budget to test ads not only on Facebook, but on Instagram. Here is limited functionality. I will not go into detail about it because there is really nothing to learn from it. As you can see on these sample slides, there is the option to either choose an automatic audience or customize an audience by interest. I want you to remember that there are very few ad features on the Instagram app. There are many more features in Ads Manager, which we'll talk about a little later on. When launching Instagram ads from your phone, you should remember that there are a number of downsides that you may encounter. From time to time, advertisements may not be displayed in your account. When running ads through Instagram through the phone, there may be problems with the audience, and not all the audiences will be displayed. There are a lot less settings here. There is more of an on-the-go type feature. For example, let's say you want to promote something for your company. There might be an occasional glitch or two, but the app for the most part should run smoothly. Launching ads on Instagram should be done in addition to launching ads on Facebook. Now let's talk about advertising with Facebook Ads Manager, and more specifically, how to work with an Ads Manager tool. What are the main features of Ads Manager, and how do you promote publications on both Facebook and Instagram? Why is it even important? The Ads Manager is the most convenient tool for working with advertising opportunities, promoting sites, mobile applications, videos, etc. Speaking of advertising on Facebook, I will return once again to the personal profile, and I would like to state again what is important when activating the account. When you are creating a personal account, you must have a profile picture of a real person. You also must have 10 friends, 10 posts, a real photo, and you must be the administrator of your Facebook business page. You can either create your first advertising campaign to promote a business page or a specific site. Now, when activating your advertising account, Facebook realizes that this account belongs to a real person or company or linked to a business manager of a certain company. An important point that I want to say again is that Facebook is against fake profiles. You should not create fake profiles for advertising. They will immediately be blocked and immediately removed. Only use real profiles for advertising. Let's now take on the scary challenge of trying to understand Ads Manager. I will go into great detail about each of the main elements of this tool. Let's go to the computer. First, I will show you the main functionalities and features of the Ads Manager and the types of with advertising properly. Facebook has developed a tool called Business Manager. What is Ads Manager for? And why today in 2021 will it not work without a business manager? How do we know that there is a personal page, business page, and advertising account? All of this is tied to the Business Manager. Facebook implemented the Business Manager tool after a lot of huge accusations regarding emails and phone leaks. The Business Manager tool ensured that everyone is held accountable for their actions. In the Business Manager, absolutely all information about a project, Ads Manager, page, and Instagram account is tied up together. In order to enter the Business Manager, you need to follow the link to business.facebook.com. You will need to create a Business Manager yourself if you do not have one. It is generated automatically from time to time. If you have already done something or used some tools, a business manager can automatically be created for your project. If you work as a freelancer and have several projects, then each project should have its own business manager. There is no need to have different businesses on one business manager. When it comes to a business manager, I understand that the first thing I have to work with is the audience. We can download phones and emails. Of course, we will show you how this is done in our course. We can work with a lead form when a user scrolls through Facebook or Instagram and is asked to leave a phone number. It is a format of advertising used for launching and collecting contacts. In this case, he leaves a phone number and a manager is already trying to call this phone number. The information is then decoded and you as the marketer can then pursue the best course of action. This is an opportunity to work with a catalog of goods. That is, if you have an online store or a large platform that has anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 product units without restrictions. You can also configure your settings and make it so that an advertisement for particular goods chases a person, and you can use this data in your advertising funnel. And of course, this is additional security for your website because you are again proving that you are a real person. Popular accounts are periodically hacked and blocked, which means you could never have too much security. What are some problems that you can face? In this slide, you can see that if you went to business.facebook.com, you will have open the Business Suite. Business Suite is a new technology that Facebook is actively developing, but unfortunately, there are many buts about it. This tool is very crude as of today, and many of its features are poor in quality. So when going to business.facebook.com, if you see the same image as in this screenshot, you need to switch. This is very easy to do. All you have to do is leave a review and say that this is inconvenient for you to work with the Business Suite. Facebook will automatically switch you over to the classic version of Business Manager. It is more convenient to work in the classical version. The audience, catalogs, and other instruments work better in the classical version. Make sure that you are not running Business Suite, but Business Manager. Of course, once Facebook finishes developing Business Suite, we will add a new video reviewing the capabilities of Business Suite. In the meantime, we are content with the classic version of Business Manager as it works without any errors. And now, friends, I propose to go to the Business Manager interface and look at some of the main features and learn how to use them. This is very important for those who are going to show ads for iPhone owners in 2021 because Facebook did not find common ground with Apple. That is why in order to work and display normal ads, you need to take a number of actions. Let's go through these actions step by step. Take a look at Facebook Pixel and how to set up events. How does Facebook Pixel work? How do you set up events correctly? And why is it important to consider the feud between Apple and Facebook in 2021? What do we need to do? You have the opportunity in the Business Manager section to select a pixel and add a new one. For example, there are situations when a company has several sites. Some kind of landing pages, of course, each one needs to set up its own pixel code. This is absolutely not a problem. Click the Add button and Facebook will give you a special code that the developer will need to put on your site. Once they set it up, events can be written down. Now let's figure out how to set up an event. Inside the pixel, you have the opportunity to go to the pixel section and see that your pixel is working. Now we need to use the Google Chrome browser since this feature works only with the Google Chrome browser. That is because you can only configure events in the Google Chrome browser. Go to Settings and to the Events Manager section. The Events Manager section has the ability to configure events for pixels. What is an event? This is a purchase, clicking Add to Cart, the ability to make a call, etc. Pixel events are configured in a way that allows you to add events and set their level of importance. As I said, this only works in the Google Chrome browser. If I open my agency website, you will see that I have a special assistant. A helper is a plugin that is installed in the Google Chrome browser. These plugins are called Facebook Pixel Helpers. This plugin, as you can see, fully matches the identifier. It also corresponds to the one set in my Business Manager. As you can see, an event has occurred. Page view. In the Events Manager section, we can configure an event. Let's get into how to set up an event. There is an Adds Event button. And of course, it is possible to select from a new website or from a pixel. We pick from the pixel. And here we open Event Setup tool. Here our task is to copy the site URL and just paste it here. Since I already have a pixel installed, I can configure events on my site through Google Chrome. How is it done? This is done by pressing certain buttons. We have a special window that popped up. This window allows us to customize an event. In this case, I've already configured an event when the user submits this data and clicks on the Submit button. If the site has several buttons, you can click on Track a New button and track it in this way. In this case, after you've completed all these settings, you can click Finish Setup. And one more important thing that you will need to do is go to this section, Aggregated Event Measurement. In this section, you will need to click on Configure Web Events and set the priority of your events. In my case, the most important priority event is the completion of a registration and lead. This means when a user leaves his information in contacts, it is recorded. In the case of an online store, this will be a purchase and a payment. Therefore, for each site, we see that my domain has been verified. The main events are configured in the Business Manager, and this, I repeat, is done only in the Google. Let's take a look at the main features of Business Manager and look at the main characteristics and parameters that need to be configured first. Now, the Business Manager of my company is in front of you. You now need to go to business.facebook.com. Make sure that you are using the classic version of Business Manager and not Business Suite. If you do not have Business Manager active, refer back to earlier in the lesson to learn how to switch to Business Manager. I have already added an advertising account and a Facebook account. In order to manage all this, we have a special setting. By clicking on this special setting, we can go to the settings of our Business Manager. First of all, you have the tab Users, and you will have the ability to work with people. And we can add new users. That means I can grant access to any employee within my company. Then there is the Partners section. I can provide partners with access. I can also share things with a partner and connect with them through Business Manager. Next, in the Accounts section, we have a tab called Pages. Here, you need to link the Facebook page to the Business Manager. Next, we move on to the Add Accounts section. In the Add Accounts section, we have the opportunity to add an ad account. And we see that the ad account is also linked to us. If you do not have an ad accounts and you need to add one, just click here on the Add button. Since I have already added it, you can see that this function is not available. If you do not have an ad account, you can click Create a New Account and you will be asked to link a bank card. What do you need to know about bank cards? With a bank card, you have the opportunity to manage finances. You link the card, it charges $1 and returns $1 to you. In this way, it checks the activity of your account. If there's not enough money in the account or Facebook cannot write off $1 and return it immediately, Facebook will not create an account for you. They will ask you to link another card. The card can be in any currency. It doesn't matter what currency you use for your account. It can be dollars, euros, pounds, etc. Let's move on. After we have a linked account and page, there is an Instagram account section. Here we also need to add an Instagram account via the add button. Please note that when adding an Instagram account, it will ask for a username and password. In the event you get hacked, you can get it back through your business manager. Let's move on to the most interesting part. These settings are important and complex. We're moving on to the section called Data Sources. In the Data Sources section, we have sources and we have pixels. What is a pixel and what is it used for? Pixel service is the ability to install a special pixel on your site and a special code that will accordingly track site visitors. Once again, this only works for your own website. You can only use pixels on websites that you own. You will not be able to install the pixel on the site of your competitor. To work with a pixel, you will need to click on the Add button, create a pixel, and install a custom code. Give this code to a programmer or developer. They will install this code on your site. Accordingly, in this format, we see that I already have a pixel. It has been created and added to our business manager. And of course, it is also now on the site. In this case, if a pixel, as you see now on the screen, is not active, it glows gray. If it is active, it will be green. That means the pixel code is on the site and it's collecting data on visitors and functioning properly. I will go into further detail about this later on in the lesson. Okay, so that is how to interact with your website visitors. Now let's move on to a section called Brand Safety. Here we have a section called Domain. In the Domain section, we have the opportunity to verify the domain of our site. The domain of my company's site is b91.com.ua. In this case, I add this domain, click the Add button, and add the domain. And now I need to verify this domain. There are 3 options for confirmation. The most difficult option is through DNS. DNS records change in the domain name and usually takes up to 72 hours. This option is rarely used by anyone, therefore most often when adding a domain, they use the option of either setting the meta tag or the option of uploading files to the root system of your site. This file is issued by Facebook, and when your programmer or developer uploads a file or puts a meta tag, you click the Submit button. Why do this? First of all, this is done so that you have the opportunity to work and show ads to users on iPhones with iOS 14. This is a mandatory requirement for all businesses and large companies. Now I propose to go to Ads Manager and see how everything works and what the Now let's go to Ads Manager and analyze the types of ads and accordingly the ability to launch ads through Ads Manager. After we have added our advertising account to the Business Manager, click on the menu bars and then open the Ads Manager. In this case, Ads Manager allows us to run ads for both Facebook and Instagram. This feature allows us to launch ads to our audience from anywhere and without any errors. Let's figure out the main functions that we have here. We now see how the Ads Manager is arranged, and there is a green button called Create. That means create a new ad campaign. Click on the Create button. Now we have 3 columns in front of us. With the help of these 3 columns, we see all the objectives that are available to us in the ad account. The first objective is brand awareness. Most often, this type of advertising is used by large businesses and large companies that want real recognition. This type of advertising is not entirely suitable for small and medium-sized businesses. The next type of advertising is reach. We have the ability to show the reach of an advertising campaign. For example, if you have a promotion that says, buy 2, get 3, you need to increase the number of your audience as much as possible to show this product. In this case, we are using the objective reach. Further, there is objective traffic, or an old-fashioned way of saying this is clicks to a website. Why do I speak of the old way? because in many Facebook guides and tutorials, you could find exactly this notion as a click to a website or traffic. When a user clicks on a Facebook or Instagram ad, they are taken off Facebook to your site. The next type of advertising I will talk about is engagement advertising. If you choose this type of an ad objective, there are several subtypes of engagement ads. A post engagement is when you promote a Facebook or Instagram post. The next subtype is page likes, or when a user subscribes to your page. And the last type is event responses. Notice, as I show it again, in the engagement section, we have 3 ad subtypes: post engagement, page likes, and event responses. A little later, when we sort all the objectives with you, I will show in more detail how to promote a Facebook page and run ads on it. Another objective, app installs. What are app installations? When installing applications, we mean promoting Play Store and App Store mobile applications. When users click your ad, they will be taken to the Play Store/App Store. Then they will be given the option to install your application and pay for your installations. At the moment, my agency is working with various projects and platforms. For the most part, we're promoting games that have to do with puzzles, monsters, and things of that nature. The Facebook platform directs a huge amount of traffic to these games that we market. When users scroll through their Facebook feed and Instagram feeds, there's a good chance that they will see your ad. It is also likely that your ad will be something that they are interested in because of the algorithm. When users click the ad link of your application, they will either be transported to the Play Store or App Store. Video views. The video viewing format is ideal for those who have a commercial and need to get views for it. Next is lead generation. There is a format of advertising called cost per lead, or CPL. This basically means payment for actions. What is considered an action on Facebook? An example of an action is when a user leaves their phone number or email address. Then a manager from a company will use this information by contacting the user. This is an ideal way of gathering a legitimate audience for consultation. For example, you could state that in order to sign up for a consultation, you must leave your contact details. You could also use the same type of format for a car test drive. For example, sign up for a car test drive, enter your contact information here. This is a great way to do business, especially if you do not have a website or your website is not that high quality. In this case, all of your advertising should be done through lead generation. All of your ads should be placed in the Instagram and Facebook feeds. When a user scrolls through the feed, they will see your advertisement, fill out the necessary information, and then you may get in touch with them. The next type of ad I will cover is the messages. Messages is suitable for those who want to receive messages on their Facebook business page, Instagram direct message, or WhatsApp. Unfortunately, due to updates, Facebook has banned advertising message objectives on Facebook pages in the UK and Europe. The add message feature is only available for CIS countries. This feature works especially well if you need to receive messages from the audience. It's only important to think over the communication, why the user should write to your page, or for what purpose he writes to your page. If there is no such objective, but simply write to our page, this is not quite suitable. For example, one of our clients is a car rental company in Dubai. WhatsApp is very popular in Dubai. They are currently launching a WhatsApp message ad campaign. So let me tell you how it works. A user will see a specific vehicle. For example, the Renault Duster SUV is very popular in Dubai, and accordingly, it is one of the most popular rentals. The user sees this car, clicks the send message button in WhatsApp, and the manager receives a specific message in WhatsApp for that car. Next are ads for conversions. What counts as a conversion? In simple terms, a conversion is when a user visits your site and makes a purchase. A pixel should already be installed on the online store in question. The pixel will record what product the user chose, their address information, and the preferred method of payment. After a user does all of this, they should get a thank you for your order screen along with their order number. At this point, the user has completed a conversion. There are conversions for e-commerce. It would also count as a conversion if a user registers for a webinar or seminar on a website. In this case, a user would fill in their information and then click submit. So CPA ads are perfect for this. Today, 90% of my agency's advertisement campaigns are for clients who have set up conversions on websites. This advertisement is for catalog sales, or also known as dynamic product ads. What does it mean? This is when a specific product is chasing a person. For example, you look at a pair of green New Balance sneakers. You like them very much, but you don't get paid for another 2 weeks, so you decide to wait. But when you start flipping through Facebook and Instagram, you'll notice that these sneakers are appearing everywhere. All this is done through advertising and a product catalog that is uploaded to Facebook. You can also use store traffic as an objective. This is the objective that is available on Facebook, but unfortunately, again, due to the pandemic and some geolocation flaws, I do not recommend using it. We have sorted out all the objectives that are available for advertising companies. These are objectives that you can use to promote your business. Many of these are used in conjunction or separately from Instagram. Let's summarize what we have just talked about. The most useful objectives are reach, traffic, and engagement. We also use app installs, video views, lead generation, and of course, conversions. These objectives will help you promote you or your clients the most. Trust me, we've spent a huge amount of money on advertising. We can confidently say what works and what doesn't. Now we will analyze advertising objectives in more detail, and after that, we will completely step by step. Let's take a look at the ad objective page likes that is used in advertising for getting likes. Step by step, we will learn how to configure it and how to launch an advertisement in order to get subscribers for your business page. For these objectives, I click on the Create button and accordingly select the engagement section here. In the engagement section, I have the option to select page likes. I click Continue, and here we analyze the main features. Please note that after I clicked Continue, I was thrown into the interface. First, I selected an ad campaign, ad sets, and an ad. Once more, our campaign is called Page Likes. That means this campaign is focused on getting likes for page. In the campaign name, I write like for page B91. Then we move on to the ads group section. And here I click on the next button. After that, please note, we went from the campaign to the ad group. In the ad set, I set the budget and it shows me my Facebook page, which should be linked to the business manager like in the previous videos. And this is where I set the budget. The minimum daily budget for page likes is $1 per day if you work with the US dollar currency. Facebook will ban anything below $1 and prevent you from launching ads. Next, set when you want to start your advertising and when you want to finish it. If you do not want to turn off ads according to the schedule, you can turn it off using the usual toggle switch, simply by switching it to the side Disable Ads. Next, we move on to the section called Audiences. Through the Audience section, we can configure who we want to show our ads to. Here, notice there is a Custom Audiences section. Remember this section. I will discuss how to select audiences further later on. Next, we choose a location. I can pick exactly where I want my ads to be shown. In the Location section, I can choose to show ads either to all of a certain country or I can show ads to certain cities. For example, I may only choose London, or for example, I can select certain streets or location points for the advertisement. How is this done? Let's say that I chose Kiev for my location. There is a special pin that I can use for this. This pin, once installed, has a geolocation that can be expanded 50 miles. So how do we use these pins? You can put multiple pins almost right on top of each other. In this case, this city has a right and left bank. Okay, for example, you want to advertise a fitness center or fitness room. Then in this case, you can turn off the right bank and show only the left. Or if you have a restaurant, you can make it so your ads only show up in a nearby location. These features are pretty much universally used by marketers. Okay, I want to share a little life hack that you can use to advertise yourself during offline conferences. Let's say there's an offline conference on your topic, and accordingly, specialists who are your target audience will be there. No problem. Choose the location that the conference will be at, and then people will see your ads when they browse Facebook. Let's choose Kiev for our experiment. This is a feature that allows us to determine if people are living in this place or have recently been to this place. Here we select Kiev. I have the option to add a few more regions as well. You can choose a city, area, or even a specific street. Next, we set the age. Ideally, you should know your audience, but if you don't, that's okay, because you can just select 18 to 65. Don't worry about this too much. Facebook will independently select an audience that is more likely to respond to your ads. Next, we move on to gender. Here, everything should be fairly straightforward. And then we move on to detailed targeting. What is detailed targeting? Detailed targeting are the interests by which the audience comes to your ad. This applies to advertising for traffic, post promotion, etc. Here we draw your attention to the fact that if, for example, a girl is interested in a wedding dress, she will most likely have a wedding soon. We can offer her a wedding car, wedding presenter, wedding photographer, and so on. If, for example, this is some kind of luxury audience, they will be looking for some expensive brands. These can be business owners, CEOs, founders, co-founders, etc. In this case, you can set up advertising for business owners, dentists, and for absolutely any target options. There is also a target option here called parents. Here, we can set up ads for moms who have small children or children of a certain age. This information, of course, is very relevant to your ad campaign. Please note that there can be 3, 5, and 10 such settings. You shouldn't dwell on just one audience. There should be several audiences that you market to. All of this depends on the portrait of your target audience and your SMM strategy as a whole. After that, we select our page. Then we choose the placement type. In this case, it will be automatic. What is placement type? Placement type means where your ad will be displayed. If I don't choose the automatic placement type, but choose the manual placement type, then I need to manually select where I want my ad to be shown, like in feeds, stories, etc. Unfortunately, I cannot adjust the types of settings, but in the next ad settings, I will show you how to adjust them. For advertising, page likes, subscriptions, we leave the functionality of automatic placement with you and show ads on your Facebook page everywhere and absolutely on all sites. Next, we click on the next button and go to the last stage. These are ads. This is what your ad will look like. Please note that the data on my Facebook page has been pulled up here, including the text. It is important to think over both the picture and the text here, so when the users see your ad, they want to subscribe to you. You have to really sell yourself here so users will want to follow you. Add a life hack or something interesting so that they will be interested, but pay attention, again, to the fact that any user who will subscribe to you, put this mark like. In this case, he will see your news and accordingly already follow your page. Of course, it is advisable to use more than one creative, but use several creatives, at least 3 or 5, since the algorithm is designed in such a way that all creatives will be shown in turn. We will talk about creatives in further detail in later videos. So I've just shown how to launch ad campaigns for likes. All that remains for us is to click on the publish button. Of course, it is important to write text here and add the required ad creatives. Okay, let's move on to the audience section. What are audiences and how can they be used in advertising? To find this out, we must first go to the audiences section. In the audience section, we have the option to use custom audiences, saved audiences, and lookalike audiences. Let's figure out what these are and what the sub-items of these audiences are. Okay, I'm in the audience section now and I have the opportunity to create an audience. Let's deal with the first one. This is a custom audience. I click on them and what can I see here? First, I can collect an audience of visitors to my website. As I said earlier, you need to install the Facebook pixel on your company's website. Then I can upload emails or phones of a custom audience. Why should you download phones or emails of leads? because with that information, you can expand your audience and create a lookalike audience. I'll show you how this is done a little later. Next is the app activity. You can collect people who use your application, actively play it, and also find similar people who interact with your applications. Then there is no offline activity. If you have an offline audience, you have the opportunity to collect their information as well. Next is the ability to collect people who viewed videos on Facebook or Instagram. After that is the lead generation section, lead form. This is where I can collect people who have filled out a lead form. I can even collect people who opened a lead form but did not fill it out. Next is an ad format called Instant Experience or Host. Through the audience section, I collect people who interacted with an advertisement. Next is the shopping section. Through the shopping section, I can see who interacted with certain stores and collect those people as well. This is essentially an active audience that came in and was interested in specific products. Next, I have an Instagram account section. Here I can choose my Instagram account and collect an active audience, not just of Instagram followers, but for people who use Instagram direct messages, liked posts, and interacted with your account. This will be the most active audience. This is the audience for the events that you have on Facebook. The same is true for the Facebook page, and in this case, the ability to collect an audience on the Facebook page. That is, those who follow Facebook on their personal page, those who liked it. I can use them for advertising targets using this format. For example, find a lookalike audience again. I often speak about lookalike audiences. Okay, we are at the next stage. We will now analyze what a lookalike audience is and how to use it. There is a section called On Facebook Listings. We have the opportunity to collect people who include this section with Facebook ads. Okay, now we have dealt with you with the possibility of working with the audience. Now let's move on to creating lookalike audiences. You might be wondering, lookalike to what and lookalike to whom? In this case, I'm talking about lookalike behavior. If we have uploaded a list of phone numbers or emails, we can find people with similar behavior on Facebook. Same goes for Instagram. Click the Create Audience button, and here is a lookalike audience. Over here, we select the source of this audience. Let's talk about sources. What can be the source of a lookalike audience? It can be your Facebook followers, your Instagram followers, your website visitors, a list of phone numbers, or a list of emails. The only thing to remember is that you must have at least 100 people. When I say people, I mean 100 emails or 100 phones, after which a person can create a lookalike audience. In this case, we understand that there's already an active audience of those who have already bought something. This is especially true for e-commerce projects and online stores. By doing this, they can collect an audience of people who paid for a product on the site and then use them to find lookalike audiences who also bought and paid for something. At the bottom, you can see a slider. This slider is called percentage. Percentage allows us to track audience lookalike percentages, where 1% is the most similar, 2/3/5/10 is the maximum. That is, the more the audience, the more people respectively, but it will be less similar in behavior. In this case, I have chosen a source. I chose 1%, and it is the most similar audience I can possibly have. You can create these audiences for free. The only thing you have to do is show ads to these audiences like I showed you earlier in the lesson. To choose an audience, you first need to create it here. Okay, the last type of audience that you can have is a saved audience. A saved audience is an audience that you want to use periodically for promoting posts and websites. This is the audience that you selected according to your interests. It will be much easier for you to use this saved audience. That way, you can avoid entering in specific parameters every time. But keep in mind that interests change very often within saved audiences. You need to make sure that there are no burned out interests.